welcome back to another episode of the Vital Pursuit podcast. Super excited to have y'all here. We got another great guest today, and that guest is my cousin, Austin Weber. Austin Weber, good to freaking have you, dude.
Hey, thank you so much for having
Welcome to
me.
the podcast.
Excited to be here.
Get these things adjusted as we go. Yeah, it's good to have you. So everybody starts with a little bit of an intro. So we're going to run through what makes you so freaking great.
Oh, thank you.
So, Austin, born in Scottsdale, Arizona. You currently live in Colorado. You're an athlete who's played tennis, volleyball, ran cross country, track, swim team, powerlifting, and bodybuilder, an extreme sports enthusiast. You bench 325, squat 500, and deadlift 675. About 4 times everything I do. You seek adventure and challenges at the highest levels while maintaining your family-centered roots. You're a friend to anyone who'd be lucky enough to have you, and ultimately a lover of life itself. Love you, dude.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for being
much.
here. It's gonna be fun. So, how do you know me? How did we get started here?
The power of friendship started with the Power family.
Yeah, that's a good. I like that. So,
Yeah. Thankfully you met my cousin and married her, and I'm so happy to see you guys together, obviously.
yeah,
And, luckily I got a huge blessing out of that. So,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's
yeah.
great. Yeah, so like he said, he is related to my wife, so we're friends through family and just kind of hit it off and have a lot of common interests, which is always cool. So, unfortunately, you've moved away to live your dreams, so I don't
Yeah.
get quite as much, but super cool. So, one thing I always do, which I totally fumbled with you, is on Instagram like the week before, which this was kind of last minute, so that's probably why I fumbled it. But I always ask for listeners to give a question or a couple questions
Oh,
for you, and then I ask them. Well, I fumbled that and didn't do it. So I have a question for you
yeah.
to start off with. So, what is one piece of advice you would tell 15-year-old Austin?
Oh, I feel like I got like a mountain of it. But I'll start with one that I feel like was a pretty big point or a pretty big kind of realization at one point when I was younger. And I feel like it really took me a while to get used to it, but I used to become very easily stressed, and I used to always just kind of really get caught up on like, oh my God, like so many bad things can happen. And I just remember being at one point in my life, like, relax. Like, I reached like an all-time stress level in college. There was family things going on. It just felt like everything around me was crumbling. And one day, like, when I really thought, like, my life is over, everything turned out fine. And ever since then, I just constantly remind myself, everything is going to be fine. Stop stressing so hard about things. And it seems like a very simple cliche message, but I feel like life really changed when I kind of learned to accept that everything is going to be fine, no matter how bad it gets, like, to just not be so easily stressed out and,
Yeah.
you know, do what you can and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's a good one,
yeah.
man. I feel like if anybody has not dealt, like, do you think there's people out there who don't have stress? Like, I don't know. I always thought I was one of those people, and I'm not, totally not. But you just like, I feel like stress is such a common thing that everybody can bond over. Like, everybody's got it,
Oh, a
one way
hundred
or another.
percent. Yeah. And I feel like, that's how I created a lot of strong friendships being in the army was,
Uh,
everyone's going through the same stress. And when you're going through it with other people, like it just naturally forms like a very different bond than bonding over, common interests or such, which is also a very strong bond. But, bonding through levels of stress creates just as strong of a bond.
yeah, yeah, it
So,
does for true, for sure. And it's something that like you just get better at, I think, as you get older. Like as a 12-year-old, unfortunately, a lot of 12-year-olds are stressed, but it's like you don't have as much
yeah.
as you get older. And there's a quote I love from Chris Williamson. I don't know if you listen to podcasts like I do, but there's a podcast called Modern Wisdom. It's really popular right now.
Yep.
And he always says that life is meant to be lived in forward, but only makes sense in reverse. And
Yeah.
it's like, damn, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it makes so much more sense once you live some and start looking back over it, but you just wish you had all those insights while you were in it, like in the stressful moment, you wish you had the knowledge that you have now looking back on the stress, you know?
100%. Yeah. And it reminds me of like how in school you learn the subject and then you test on it. In life, you test on it and then you learn. So it's like,
Yeah, yeah, it's
eh.
a great way to put it for sure. For sure. So sports and athletics, I feel like they don't define you, but they're definitely something that's been a huge part of your life. I mean, you pursue athletics to this day, which I freaking love. I love when people like stay after stuff. Like the saddest thing to me is when someone's like, "Yeah, I was so passionate about this in high school," and then I just kind of it's like, "No, don't. Like
Yeah.
stay with it. Like keep doing it, you know?" Um, but so you played a lot of sports in high school. What do you think your favorite was at all of those?
Oh, I would have to say tennis.
Really? Okay.
Tennis. So when I joined, I really wanted to play varsity. I grew up playing a lot of tennis before, and then freshman year, I didn't make varsity, and I was a little down about it. So I played JV, and it actually ended up being one of my favorite parts of all of like high school.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of friends who did it, and I made so many friends who did it. And it felt like tennis is a relatively individual sport. Obviously, if you have a doubles partner, it's very, team intensive. But for even how much of an individual sport it was, it felt like that was the strongest bond I ever built with like people on a team.
Yeah.
And that's why I would probably say that one was my favorite.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome. I never would have guessed tennis. That's good. I
yeah.
don't know if I've ever played tennis, but it looks hard.
Uh,
Sounds
I
cool though.
I mean, it's starting to get taken over by pickleball.
That I know. Everybody
Yeah,
plays pickleball.
yeah.
Like even at the tennis courts down the street now, it's like they made smaller ones. Everybody just plays pickleball.
Yep.
It's
And
crazy.
literally yesterday, me and younger brother Jordan were hanging out. He's like, "Let's go play pickleball." I'm like, "Okay, what about tennis?" He's like, "No, let's play pickleball." I'm like, "All right,
Yeah.
guess we're playing pickleball."
Yeah, it's like a I don't know, it's the trend right now. It's like playing
Yeah.
pickleball. So do you think like so I would say I was born as a pretty active kid. Like I never just laid around and stuff. But do you think that like wanting to be involved in a lot of sports was something you were kind of born with? Like was that just a desire you had, or do you think you kind of learned to do that through just getting involved in stuff slowly?
I would say I was fortunate enough that, very young, like my parents were always pretty pushy, like they wanted me doing sports. And I think just being in it since I was young enough to comprehend life, just built the effect that, oh, like, yeah, this rocks. Like, I love, I feel like when I was really younger, I really enjoyed the team aspect of
Yeah.
just like also like, oh, I get to go play a fun sport and hang out with my like friends. So it was like that was a pretty fun aspect. And now that I'm a lot older, I take it a lot more serious where I really like the sports for the competition
Yeah.
and the actual sport. But I think I was pretty lucky that it was just something that I just inherently really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I'd say it was definitely a part of me before I really knew kind of me,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's funny you mentioned your parents kind of pushed you into it. And it's funny every guest I've had so far, we always get to that same point where they're like, my parents pushed me to do this. And every one of them, like we've talked about it a little bit, and they're all like, man, at the time I was so mad that my parents made me do this. And now looking back, it's like, yeah, thanks, that was good. Like, thanks for making me do stuff when I would have been lazy. It's funny, like the trend you see with everybody our age who's like, yeah, yeah, they knew what they were doing a little bit, I guess. It's
Yeah,
kind of
right.
funny.
You never appreciate it when you're a kid.
No, it's like we talked about being able to see it in reverse, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense then. But yeah, I had a question written. What life lesson do you think your high school sports taught you? But it seems like friendship is a big one,
Yeah,
just teamwork and
100%. Wow, that is a really good one. Um, I mean, I feel like throughout my sporting career, uh, that was, the people in the sport was always the most important thing. I was pretty naturally gifted at cross country, which is unfortunate because I just so dislike running. Um,
fair enough.
yeah,
It
but
sucks.
part of the reason that I did it for as long as I did, was just because, I had a coach who really cared. And there was one summer where I was like, I'm not doing it. And he reached out and, there were a lot of people on the team that like meant a lot to me. So, I did it a little longer than I expected. So definitely just the camaraderie I felt like was the biggest takeaway for all of
Yeah.
sports for me.
Yeah, I
So
would agree with that. There's something about being on a team, like, and now, like we said, both of us have kind of moved into sports or different things that are more solo now, it seems like. But looking back, like those team moments, like going into something hard with a group of guys who you've been like I played basketball, and going into a game that you know is tough, but like knowing you all worked together for the last how many years to get ready for this moment, like it like you said, it builds like a bond that nothing else really does, you know.
yeah,
It's pretty
right.
sweet.
And then you always have those moments where it's like after the game, you're all on the bus on the way back, and
Right. Yeah, and
the
all the bullshitting's always fun.
yeah, yeah,
There's you can't put a price on that. It's great.
exactly.
Yeah, it's cool, man. So high school, played a lot of sports, stayed busy, stayed out of trouble, of course, like we all did. You know,
Naturally,
we were all such good kids, never
no
did
such thing
anything,
as trouble
right?
for me.
Never did anything stupid. And then college after that, right?
Yeah. Um, in college, as far as sportings, it was mostly just intramural, hanging out, doing it with my friends, whenever, we were done with classes. Um, Sadly, didn't have I would say I just didn't have the drive to I did a lot of sports, but I didn't do any of them super particularly well, except cross country.
Yeah, the one you hate.
Yeah,
I hear you.
exactly. But I think it was super nice because it also led into my passion of lifting,
Mm,
which is like by far my biggest passion in life. So I think where I stopped with the sports and where I started picking up lifting was kind of a transition to a new part of life, probably more so into adulthood.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I think I'm going a little off on a tangent,
No,
but
we love those.
that's what we're here
We
for.
love those. That's what we're here for, man. That's awesome. So you went to college at Milwaukee, right? University of Milwaukee?
Yep,
Okay.
University of Milwaukee. Um, yeah, and I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. Growing up near Milwaukee, I was like, oh, like it's not going to be anything cool. But I ended up liking it a lot. I studied kinesiology.
Okay.
Um,
Now, for those not as smart as you, what is kinesiology?
it's the study of the human body as it
Okay.
relates to movement.
Oh, cool.
So a common undergrad degree for people going into physical therapy or
Okay.
any sort of personal training, sports training, etc.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and honestly, I just did it because I was really passionate about the human body and
Yeah.
really liked, you know, sports training, bodybuilding, powerlifting, all of it. So went to Milwaukee, studied that, and had a time.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So graduated in spring of 2023, correct?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And then now I feel like I missed some things when I was like thinking about your timeline. So obviously you're in Colorado now and we'll get to that, but you did the National Guard.
Yeah.
Where did that fall? Because like I was obviously talking to you during this time, but I just don't remember like thinking back my stupid brain. I'm like, was that
Yeah.
like after college or during college or walk us through that?
No, yeah, that's a perfect question. So actually, right after high school, I did a semester at Arizona State, and then a bunch of life events came up. So I moved back to Milwaukee, and after the first semester of college, right out of high school, is when I joined the Army National Guard, and then from there, I did a 6-year contract, and that's when I was in college is when I was also in the
Okay,
guard.
that's what I thought.
Yeah. So it was I want to say it was pretty close to the whole span of my contract of also being in school. So it took me a little longer to do my bachelor's degree than like 4 years straight because I would have to leave for like trainings for 6 months and sometimes they would overlap at the 2 months at the end of the semester and 2 months at the start of another one.
Sure.
So yeah, pretty much my whole time in college, I was in the Army National Guard.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And now there was something in there with like air traffic control, right? That was
Yeah.
like your job.
So since seventh grade, that was the career I wanted to pursue.
Okay.
Um,
I
I
didn't know that it was like a long thing. That's awesome.
yeah. Well, I actually in middle school I dated a girl whose dad was a pilot,
Oh, nice.
and he was a really cool guy. And I was like, oh, like I want to be like this dude. Like I want to be a pilot.
Yeah.
And then I started flying more commercially, and I was like, actually, I hate flying. I don't want to do this.
It sucks.
Yeah. And it just so happened that someone at our church growing up was an air traffic controller at the Milwaukee airport.
Oh, cool.
And he's like, "You want to go take a tour?" I was like, "Yeah." And so seventh grade me is just in the General Mitchell Tower, just like looking at all the planes and stuff. I was like, "This is at where it's at." So since seventh grade, I was like, "That's what I want to do, air traffic control." And luckily, my military job was an air traffic controller.
Sweet.
So I was in college getting a degree in something I was interested in because to become an air traffic controller, you can apply right off the street. Anyone can.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
you
That's
there's
crazy.
yeah, there's two routes. You can either get a degree in it or you can apply off the street. And initially, I went to Arizona State to get a degree in it because there's only a very, very small handful of
Okay.
schools that offer it as a degree.
Yeah.
And then after that didn't work out, plan B, I'll just go the off the street route. And then it doesn't hurt to have, a degree.
No.
So I was like,
No.
why not? The Army's paying for
Right.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a perk.
Yeah, seriously. So I was just getting a degree in something that I was passionate about. And then, like, 2 months before graduation, I kind of came to a realization that I don't want to do air traffic control, mostly because if you get hired by the FAA, you have very limited options of where your first tower is going to be,
Oh.
and typically they're all very small towers. Commonly, they can just be in the middle of nowhere,
Oh, jeez.
and I didn't want to go into my early 20s just,
Sitting in the tower.
yeah, just in a cornfield somewhere, waiting years for someone to
Yeah.
die in like a popular city before I could move there.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna figure something else out, and we'll make it work. So and,
Cool.
yeah,
Now, there's a rumor I've heard that air traffic controlling is like the most stressful job ever. Like people are like down bad.
yeah.
Can you relate? Like, is it that tough?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just like anything. The learning curve, once you get over the learning curve, like you're fine.
Yeah.
But it is a really high learning curve. I spent an entire summer air traffic controlling at a small airport in Wisconsin called the Sparta Fort McCoy Airport.
Yeah.
And it's like, I remember literally going to bed, just like, I could not control myself from repeating like takeoff
Oh,
clearances
jeez.
and like just practicing the verbiage. And I would wake up in the morning, like, without even thinking about it. It's just like cycling in my head. And yeah, I mean, it was a lot, especially like going through the school for it. It has like one of the highest washout rates,
Really?
and yeah,
That's wild.
because there's a large portion of it where you're doing simulators, and there are these things called single line no-goes, where say you accidentally tell a plane to cross an active runway, when there's like a plane going to take off, like
Bad
obviously,
deal.
yeah, do not want that.
Right.
So you can wash away like months of progress like pretty fast. And then you're just stuck waiting to take the class again. And sometimes it takes months because the classes will just keep filling up.
Oh, wow.
And if they're all full, you just got to wait for the next one. If the next one's full, you're waiting for the next one. So thankfully, I got through that unscathed. But yeah, it is definitely stressful. Um,
Jeez. Yeah, I bet.
and but once you get over it, it was crazy. The guys that I air traffic controlled with, they would be playing computer games or phone games,
Oh,
and
Lord.
they would just like get up, like still playing their game, like talk to the aircraft and not miss a beat on their game
Wow.
or the call, and it's just like what?
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's funny. I've always heard that it's like a pretty high stress job, which makes sense, especially if you're like it's Chicago or something and you've got planes with 300 people at a time
yeah,
crossing each other. Like it's a little sketchy.
100%.
It's a little sketchy. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, that was like a little. I think a really interesting part of your life that I totally missed, and when I was putting a little outline together, but I'm like, I gotta make him talk about that because somebody out there wants to be an air traffic controller and needs to
Yeah,
get the scoop, right?
yeah, and one of my friends that I went to air traffic control school with, she does it in Hawaii.
Now that's cool.
Yeah, and she enjoys it, and I would love, I wish I could see what that timeline looked like if I stuck
Mhm.
with it. It would be really interesting to see. Um, but yeah, so I tried it out, and I'm glad with where life is now. So I
Yeah,
don't like regret it or anything.
yeah,
But it would be interesting to see
yeah.
how that would have turned out.
Man, that is one thing that I feel like I do a lot, and most people probably do, but the what if stuff
Yup.
drives me crazy, dude. Like Matthew McConaughey, I love Matthew McConaughey. Who doesn't? But
Yeah.
he uh he was on that same podcast I was talking about, and he went into this little quote that's like a giant reel now. I've used it on Instagram and stuff, but he's like, if you're gonna do something, do it. Like, don't half-ass it. His whole mindset is don't half-ass anything, because if you do, 10 years from now, you're gonna lay in bed thinking like, what if I would have put in everything into it? So I've like tried to get this mindset of like, whatever I'm gonna try to do, even if it doesn't work out, like the concept of if you go all the way and still fail, well then you just know it wasn't right. But if you like kind of go and it fails, you never know if it like wasn't meant to be or if you just suck.
Yeah.
It's really it's a real screws with your mind, when you start thinking about that. So I'm trying in life now to just like go so hard at what I'm doing that if I fail, I know like, well, it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. No, that's 100% the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes where I get stuck with that is like I feel like there's a lot of things that I want to do.
Oh, same.
I'm like, okay, yeah, right. It's
Same.
like, oh, okay, well, I want to get really good at this, and then it impacts that, and I have that crossover with like lifting a lot, where it's like, oh, I love, hiking mountains and camping and fucking so much stuff.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, that actually hurts my recovery for lifting. I'm like, okay, well, now I can't lift as much because I just spent the entire weekend doing all the other stuff I really
You're
like.
right.
So it's definitely one of those things where you really just gotta figure it out, and no better way than just trying it,
Yeah.
just doing it.
Yeah. It's not something I plan on talking about, but I feel like we got to stop here and go on a rabbit trail. So you were just saying like how many things you want to be involved in, and I feel that so much. Like I've told some people, obviously like, hey, I'm doing a podcast and a YouTube channel, and they're like, bro, how do you have time to do any of that? And I'm like, honestly, I don't know yet. I'll let you know because I don't know how I have time either. Like, lifting, running, like hunting. Like hunting, first of all, will eat every bit of time you want to give it. Lifting will, running will. I have a wife. I have two kids now. Like, I don't know how I have time for any of
Yeah.
it. But I feel like time management is a perfect thing to talk to you about for a minute because you're into just as much stuff. And I think it's a huge thing that people like in our 20 to 30 window really struggle with knowing like how to or what to devote time to in like a healthy way, right? Because I've been down the road of like devoting time into things in a non-healthy way where it's like you're just beating the doors down on
Yeah.
everything.
Not getting any sleep.
You burn out and nothing gets done, right?
Yep.
So, what advice or what would you have to give for time management? What's your secret?
Oh,
We're into a lot.
yeah. No, I wouldn't say I have any secrets. I would say a pretty big thing that I've learned relatively recently, just getting into my late 20s, is just being very particular about who you spend your time with and like what you spend your time doing. I used to stretch myself super thin, and I still find myself in periods where it's like, okay, I gotta, hang out with this person, hang out with this person, go do this thing, go do that. Um, but just kind of coming to a realization like, hey, like you don't have to be like super good friends with everybody in the world. Like you just pick the few things that mean the most and just put more effort into that instead of trying to do as many things here and there, even though I literally just said how I like to do like a ton of things.
Right.
Um, but I would say that was a big thing for me was just being a little bit more selective about the things I do. I still do a lot, but you know,
Yeah.
just trying to be a little bit more. particular about it,
Yeah,
about the things that you choose to put your energy into.
yeah. No, I would. Yeah, I would say the exact same thing. It's not as much about not doing the things that you enjoy. It's almost too about like surrounding yourself with people who I guess are understanding of that. I'm a big quote guy as you're figuring out, but
Yeah.
there's another quote from the same podcast, Chris Williamson. He says, "Your calendar is a better representation of your wealth than your bank account."
Oh,
And I was like, it took a while for me to understand. I'm like, yeah, like if you have more time, you're rich,
yeah.
right? If you have time to like give, you're wealthy because time is like the only thing you can't buy more of, right? Like
Right.
I can buy new running shoes, I can buy steroids to get jacked if I can't. Like you can buy anything to get you where you want,
100%.
except time,
Yeah.
So that quote's always made me think. And then there's another one, back to the friends thing. I think it's important to surround yourself with people who are like-minded in like their goals, and you have to be careful with that because I think if somebody needs a friend, be their friend, whether they're on the same path or not, right?
Yeah.
But as far as like your inner circle, I think it's really important to have those friends who are on the same like wavelength, because if not, it's just gonna really make it hard to like do the things you want to do. Like, same quote, same guy, he said, if somebody asks you to do something, if they want you to go, or what, how does he say it? No, he said, if they care if you go, they don't care about you. And if they don't care if you go, they care about you, basically. And it's like, yeah, like a good friend is okay with you saying, no, man, I can't tonight,
Yeah.
but then you're the unpopular guy, right? It's such a, in those like early 20s, like you want to say yes to everything. Somebody asks
Yep.
you to go and you're like, I have to go, or they're going to think I don't like them. But it's like a true friend is going to be like, no, he's got a lot going on. Like he needs a night off, right?
Yeah.
But finding those people also is like tough.
100%. Yeah. And I had a friend, we had a few guys all go get dinner last night, and I reached out to one of my best friends, and he was just telling me about his day. Uh, him and his dad run a dog training business,
Oh,
and
cool.
his dad was out of town, so he was like up from like 4 a.m. Didn't finish the night until like 9. And he's like, "Yeah, I can't make it." And I was like, "Dude, totally get it. Like, it doesn't matter how long with those people. It doesn't matter how long you go without seeing them.
Right.
Every time you see them, it's right back to where it was."
Yeah. Those are the best.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I feel like I have so many friends like that. And I'm sure you do too now with living, in a different state. But like one of my closest friends lives in South Carolina, and it's funny because like my wife is very different. Like she keeps up with her friends like a lot. Whereas like me and him, she'll be like, how's so and so? And I'm like, I don't know, I haven't talked to him for like 3 weeks. And she's like, isn't he like your best friend? I'm like, yeah. But then we have a conversation and it's like, nothing. We don't miss a beat.
Yeah,
And that just feels so good because it's like
right.
you're confident enough in your friendship to not like have to text every day
Oh,
or
yeah.
respond within the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't miss those friendships where you see that they read it and then it goes 2 days and you're like, well, they hate me.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't miss that crap at all.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, and I don't miss constant texting. I remember that used to be a thing. Now it's like,
No,
please don't do
no. Dude, I've
that.
taken a note out of your book and you probably don't even know this. So whenever I text you, your notifications are silenced
Yeah.
and I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, he's a genius. So I created a specific, whatever they're called on your phone, like your do not disturb.
Yeah.
I created one called slow down, and
Oh.
it runs like all the time. And it allows notifications from 5 people who I know if they're getting a hold of me, it needs to be responded to. But, and it's not like I'm choosing who's important, but I don't look at the notifications. So
Yeah.
if you message me 42 reels on Instagram, like I'm not seeing them that day. And it's
Yeah.
great. Like there's no pressure to sit and respond to all of them. Like, I don't know. It's such a simple thing. And I've always noticed that when I text you and I'm like, man, that's smart. Like,
Dude, I feel like that's like one of the smallest changes I've made that like had like a pretty big impact.
right.
It's just constantly, I never turn my phone off, do not disturb. And I mean, I wouldn't say I ever really had a problem with just always looking at my phone, but I just noticed how much more I would just like constantly, oh, like especially if you're in like a group chat and like some people get really chatty, then
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, my
Oh, it
phone
gets
is,
silenced instantly.
yeah, right. And then it all started when I watched the documentary, A Social Dilemma.
Oh, jeez.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Dude, ever since then, I'm like, get this evil thing away from me.
This is sneaky.
Yeah, and then it does. I do sometimes just naturally get like nervous if someone calls because like I'll keep family and like close friends, anyone that I know like could be important if they call me on like my favorites,
Yeah.
and then I didn't know this. Like someone the other night, one of my friends called me at like 3 a.m. and I woke up to my phone vibrating and I woke up in a panic. I was like,
Oh
"Oh no,
no.
like something's wrong."
Yeah.
And that it was not the case. She just like somehow bypassed the wake them up anyways.
Oh,
And
okay.
I didn't know that you could do that. Like I knew there was a way to do it with texting. I didn't know you could do it with calling.
Yeah. It's a
And
big prompt. Like it's so easy to push the button on texting. I mean, you got to be a
yeah.
real jerk to do it because
Yeah.
it's like notify anyway. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck?
I didn't know you could do that for calling. And I just remember getting this and I'm like my heart sank. I was like, "Oh my goodness, like
Somebody's
I
dead.
hope someone." Yeah. I was like, "Oh, geez." And then it's just my friend just she's had a white night with the girls and just wanted to talk.
Chat.
And
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, like I'm very happy to hear that and everything's all right." But
Yeah.
I just remember waking up just being like my phone never rings.
Yeah.
And
That's the worst feeling. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool though. I think mine's set to where like if somebody calls me twice in like 5 minutes, it pushes it.
Yeah.
So, if there's an emergency or somebody's trying to get a hold of me, they're gonna call more than once. So that gives me the peace of mind, like I'm gonna find out. And
Yeah.
also, here's a perk of getting married. You have like a built-in secretary that should know
Yeah.
everything. So I don't miss anything because she doesn't let me miss anything. So
Yeah.
I can kind of shut my life off and know that if somebody's dying, she's gonna tell me about it. So
Hey, there you go.
it works out. It works out. Yeah, so rabbit trail there, but that was a good one.
Yeah. Love those.
Yeah, they're great. So National Guard, and then you graduate college, spring of 23, and then the next chapter is a fun one.
Yeah.
So you move to Colorado pretty soon after you graduate. I mean, a couple
Yeah.
months.
Yeah, graduated in the spring, moved in the summer.
Okay, why'd you
So,
go? I mean,
dude.
I know why, but I
Yeah.
want to know.
Um, man. Well, there's two main reasons. One of them, I childhood best friend, first friend I ever made. He lived in Denver years before I moved. And we would talk every day. We we wouldn't talk every day. Occasionally we would. But we would talk all the time. We had a lot of similar interests and stuff going on, so we always had something to text about. And he's like, "Hey, like you should just move out here. Like I know you want to move." And for a while, I was actually thinking about moving to LA. Um,
Okay.
with another friend who's in the music industry, and the more I started thinking about it, I was like, yeah, there's just a lot more for me in Colorado, which brings the second thing is just the nature. A lot of my favorite things to do are just all outside. So every weekend I'm in the mountains, skiing, snowboarding, snowmobiling, in the summer, hiking, camping, backpacking, etc. So moved to Colorado. One of my homies was there, actually several of them. But the one that I live with now was a very big influencer. And then also just the nature and activities and the super active population.
Yeah.
Denver's like pretty young and active,
Right.
and I love the idea of being around more young and active people. So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I would say those are the main reasons.
Yeah, it's rad.
Yeah.
It's like we're going right back to the surrounding yourself, right, with people that are like-minded. And I feel like being in an atmosphere where like people are outdoorsy, like nothing makes me happier than when I sit. And I do the same thing with you. I mean, I'm more of the hunting. You're more of like the jumping off stuff on a snowboard stuff, which I'm just not talented enough to do. But it's that love of the outdoors, no matter what you're doing, that like I feel like we've always bonded over. Like if you love the outdoors, there is never going to be a shortage of friends who like instantly click, you know.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and that's like one of the best parts. Every time I meet someone, it's like, okay, do you have a hobby that I don't even know exists? Like, what am I about to find out about you?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
So,
for sure. Yeah, it's cool. So go to Colorado and you're working out there, but you kind of work like remote, sort of, right?
yeah, so right after school, I graduated and I was kind of lost on what I'm going to do for a career because I didn't plan on using my degree for a career, sorry.
Yeah.
Kinesiology is not like a great uh,
Moneymaker.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's great start for higher education, but it's a pretty limited degree otherwise. So I did an internship as a strength and conditioning coach. Super glad I did that internship because it really showed me how much I did not like that what that career would have been.
Yeah.
Extremely early mornings and then super late evenings. You're the first one in, last one out, uh, and the it just everything about it wasn't exactly what I would have liked it to be. Um, so I was just like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna try to figure it out. And then I got lucky and I found a job at a law firm that helps veterans. And being a veteran, I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to be a part of this. And yeah, so the firm is located in DC, and luckily I get to work from home. And then every few months or so, every 1 to 3 months, I'll fly to DC for like a big firm-wide meeting training. And then otherwise, just having a time in Denver.
That's cool. That's like the
Yeah.
perfect job to have out there, right? Like if you had to go sit at a desk every day, that would suck.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, it's
I mean, you're still working, obviously, but at least you don't have to like go sit inside all day, I guess.
yeah, and getting to sit in like my own room and
Yeah.
like, I don't, it's, yeah, no
Well,
complaints about
yeah.
it.
So do you think that's something like, and this is a hard question, so feel free to blow me off, but do you feel like you would do that for a long time? Like what you're doing now, like you really enjoy it and rewarding and stuff?
Absolutely. My favorite thing about it is it supplies the lifestyle that I love.
Mm,
So for me, like I work Eastern hours, so my work day is like 7 to 3. If I could choose 8 hours to work out of the day, those are the hours I would choose. So that alone is like fantastic. Um, and a lot of it is just making sure you get your work done.
mm.
So I don't get like micromanaged. It's just like, hey, did you finish all your stuff? Like, okay, well, if you're off doing something, like no one's asking where you're at.
Right.
Like if you submitted all your work, like you know, there's a little bit of flexibility throughout the day. And then, it pays well. The people I work with are super great. And, the veterans that I work with are also super awesome. And we do make a pretty big impact for a lot of them. There will be guys who, at least multiple veterans that I've worked with that like after we help them, they could afford to like get a house and like really have a better standard of living.
Yeah.
So that is like a pretty great, phone call I get to make every once in a while. It's like, hey, we won. Like, your life's about to get a little better.
Rewarding.
So yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome.
yeah.
I love something you said there, and it's actually something I wanted to talk to you about too is I feel like for guys like us, we have such big aspirations for things we want to do in our life that sometimes going to work can be tough. I've this year has been, well, the last year I should say was tough for me. I had like a pretty serious like anxiety battle with feeling like I was wasting my life, and there's so many things that go into that, and we don't have to dig into all of them, but it's a shitty thing to wake up and feel like you're wasting your life, right? Especially when you're doing so many great things and everybody's telling you like how great you're doing, but you don't feel that way because there's boxes you're not checking, right? So I know like the boring getting up and going to a job that is just work isn't like that was hard for me and I really struggled with it. And it's part of the reason I started doing this stuff, but you said it supplied I don't remember now I can't freaking brain. You said it like supplied your
Supports the lifestyle.
supports the lifestyle. That's the wording. That's it took me months to get that through my head last year. Like it's not about necessarily what I'm doing right now. It's is it supporting my lifestyle? And that is a lesson that I wish I would have learned sooner that just makes it okay. Like, yeah, I don't want to be a plumber forever. Like it's a good job and I don't hate it, but it supports my lifestyle. It allows my wife now to work part-time and be home with our kids. It allows me to be able to financially take off a couple weeks a year to go hunting and go on vacations and like that's such a good way to put it. I just love that. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to grind through something that is not like your passion, but and it sounds like you're pretty passionate about your job, which is great, but like mine is just like a job. Like
Yeah.
I don't hate it. Like I enjoy the work on good days. But it's not like I'm not passionate about it. Like when
Yeah.
people ask me what I do, I don't even like I almost just want to be like yeah, I do this stuff, but like that,
Yeah.
it's not like it doesn't excite me that much. Like it's
Yeah.
just what I do. So I think that's a super valuable lesson for people in their 20s and, at that career building stage to learn like there's a quote, you don't have to hate where you're at to change where you're at. And it's like, yeah, like I don't have to hate my job right now. So that switch flipped in my head where it now allowed me to go to work and not hate it anymore because right now it is helping me get to where I ultimately want to be. Even though it's not where I want to be, it's moving me closer gradually by supporting financially, if nothing else. Like it's allowing me to buy podcast equipment. It's allowing me to, do the things that ultimately would get me to where my dream is per se. So that I just love that you said that
Yeah.
without even being prompted. That's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I honestly I heard it somewhere else, and after hearing that, I was like, oh, that is like, I think it's a fantastic take. So I was like, I'm gonna use that because at the end of the day, and I think a lot of people are in jobs that they're not like passionate about, and that's fine. I think it would be kind of unreasonable for everyone to be in some sort of job that they're extremely passionate about. So, and it doesn't define you. So, I mean, just having a job that supports everything else about your life,
Right.
especially when you got so much other things going on, like what do you do? Well, I hunt, I lift, the more important things.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad you like
Yeah,
it.
it's like it's I guess what I've boiled it down to now is another quote. Here we are again. Is it's not really a quote. It's more of a like a analogy. But there's this idea from Ryan Long of three men on a ladder, and he asked the question. He says, "So there's a guy at the bottom, there's a guy in the middle, there's a guy in the top, and they're all trying to get to the top of the ladder. Who's the best off?" And he thought about it for a while, and he said, "The one still climbing." And I was like, "Oh, here we go again."
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're at the bottom of the ladder, middle, or the top. Are you moving? Are you still moving towards your goals? And I guess that's where I found myself ended up lying was like, I'm not where I want to be. I don't know where I'm at on the ladder, but I'm moving toward the goals. Like, I always want to start a podcast, so you start one. Is it going to work? I don't know. I don't even care. You're just moving forward, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's exactly what you're talking about with the embodiment of, it provides for what my lifestyle is like. You're moving forward. Whether you're going to do that forever or not, it's pushing you one step closer to the life you can look back on and be like, that was fun. Like,
Yeah.
that was cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's one of the most important things in life in general. Just 1% better every day. It doesn't got to be, you don't got to make leaps and bounds in a short period of time, and no one really does.
Right.
So, just one step
Yeah.
as long as you're going forward.
I think that's something I've always like admired about you, and one reason we've always hit it off with our conversations is you have that mindset of 1% better. And it's actually kind of hard to find nowadays. Like so many people like find comfort, like what's comfortable, and then are like cruise control, right? So like that idea of I've never seen you like not pushing yourself to the next thing. Like every time I talk to you, I'm like, what's new? What are you gonna do? And you always got a new. Like this is what I'm working on now. What's your next goal? What's your next thing you're pushing for? And I just always have appreciated that because that's such a awesome way to live your life. Like even if it's one thing, like you said, tiny little thing, like a cold plunge over here.
Yeah.
You should totally get a cold plunge. Um, it's those little things that you just know make you better every day. Not eating like shit or whatever, working out, which we
Yeah.
have to talk about next. But yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and it's definitely hard, but I think definitely make just looking at it from the big picture, like it's a lot easier to just take a step, even if it's just one. Like, I feel like I used to always like put a lot of pressure on myself to do like, like, hey, we're gonna spend hours doing X, Y, Z. It's like, okay, let's spend a few minutes.
Right.
And then over time it gets a lot easier, but
Yeah, it's awesome. So speaking of fitness, this is a huge thing I talk about. It fits in kind of anywhere in the conversation, so we can throw it in now. That's definitely something we've bonded over the most, probably, is
oh
the
yeah.
love for the gym and lifting. And we're obviously at different points. You look huge, by the way. You look
Oh.
great. I know when you walk in, I'm like, wow, this guy looks big.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, I first of all so proud of how far you've come. Like, and
Oh,
not blowing smoke up your ass because you're on a podcast. Like, you've just achieved so much, and I freaking love it, dude. It's
thank you.
awesome. You're the man. But the gym, we both love the gym. We both love lifting,
Oh
and
yeah.
man, just walk me through. I guess. I mean, we talked a little bit about in high school. You feel like playing other sports and then cross country and stuff kind of led you to enjoy lifting. But what do you think the draw is for you, and where are you going? What are your goals? Maybe you
Yeah.
got big ones.
Um, so that's actually, fantastic question. Because the way I started lifting is not necessarily what you might expect. It actually literally started senior year. My friend would give me rides home from school, and then occasionally he would literally just drive us straight to the gym. I would be like, "No, take me home."
That's
He'd be like,
hilarious.
You don't have a choice." I'm like, in my head, I was like, "Whatever. I get to hang out with my friend more. Like, I'm not mad." And then I just like started lifting with him, and then where it really started is like a month or two later, I could see like very noticeable like improvements in my physique. And like growing up, I was the tall, really skinny kid, like Slender Man, Green Bean, like
Fast
yeah,
metabolism.
yeah, that's that was everything.
Yeah,
So like I remember just seeing in the mirror, just like, oh, my bicep is like noticeably a little bit bigger.
yeah,
Like, this is insane. And I think ever since then, I've been hooked to it. And I think my favorite part is just the progress. Like, I'm always just trying to chase like a better physique, like better numbers. And I think that for me is just the achievement of just like, getting 1% better at it has been like what really keeps me super passionate about it. And I feel like I've transformed other parts of my life into that, where like even now it's like, yeah, I play like on a couple volleyball teams, but it's like now I really want to play to like be better. Like I'm not just showing up just to play. Like I am practicing like, my footing, my serving, like all the stuff. Um and yeah, not to get too far off, but
no, no.
yeah.
Go as far off as you want.
Yeah, no, I think just being able to see like the improvements over time is kind of what really keeps me super passionate and into lifting.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I love it. Yeah, it's like one of those things. There's no ceiling. Like
Yeah,
you just keep going.
literally.
You get
And
where you want to be, and okay, now I can be a little stronger, or whatever. It's cool.
yeah. And typically with lifting, my goals are typically just improvement related. So I don't necessarily have like, I want to hit like this crazy number. It's like, okay, what did I lift last year? I just want to lift more than that, you
Yeah.
know? So a lot of my goals are I want to PR in my squat, bench, deadlift. I don't have like a necessary like, life means more if I hit this number because
Right.
I remember when I hit my first 500, I was like, oh my God. And then I'm like, well, I could do more. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm pulling 600. I'm like, okay, well, I could do more. Like, I mean, it just, every time I hit a new number, it always feels just as good. So it's not like, oh, like, if I don't hit whatever, it means less. It's like, oh, did I improve? That's all I needed.
Yeah, it's
So,
awesome. It's
yeah.
such a good thing too. Like, as far as things you can be involved with your time. A lot of people always give me shit about like, why do you spend so much time working out? Like, what's it doing other than looking cool in the mirror? It's like, well, tell me something that's doing bad for me. Like,
Yeah.
as long as you're not like, doing unhealthy practices, like, is being stronger ever gonna hurt me? Like, is having a better heart ever gonna hurt me? Like, I don't know. There's a concept of like finding, if you're looking for someone to marry or date or whatever, like find someone who goes to the gym first. Like find that's their first quality. And I've always thought that's really cool because I already know now that you're a hard worker, that you have like you're able to be consistent at something that sucks. Like automatically I know some things about you that I like, as
Yeah.
a person.
100%. Yeah, and I have a very similar approach, single guy.
Still
Um,
single, hit them up.
yeah. But yeah, honestly, I feel like that's a big quality, not necessarily just the gym. Like what do you have like a physical pursuit? Like, are you trying to get better at, maybe you're training for a marathon or you're running or, maybe rock climbing is your thing. Any sort of physical pursuit that you do on a regular basis and are ideally, improving at over time.
Yeah,
Like I agree. That absolutely says, a lot about someone.
yeah,
So
for sure.
I do the same thing.
Yeah,
Or
it's
well, I do that. You're done doing
yeah.
that.
Thank God, I'm glad to be out of that game. Yeah, it's true though, and it's like someone who goes to the gym, which this everybody's gonna know this is a little bit bullshit, but you're pretty patient, which I'm not that patient of a person. Just a disclaimer, but they're pretty patient because you have the patience to pursue something that has such incremental gains. right? Like nobody gets huge overnight or nobody gets strong overnight or whatever. Like I look in the mirror and I'm like, man, I'm nowhere where I want to be. But then I look at a picture from like my freshman year in college and I'm like, nice, you know?
Yeah.
But you don't notice it along the way. You still feel like I still feel like the same person. Like, but then you look and you're like, wow, like come a long way. And
Yeah.
that's so cool. But it
Uh,
takes time.
oh, 100%. Like, and I feel like that's something like I have a very, very good physique. To me, it's like it's fine. Like, you're your
Your
hardest
opinion,
critic.
right?
Um, but a lot of people also don't see that like when I started lifting, I was like 150 pounds
Yeah,
soaking wet.
same.
And so my physique might not look crazy right now, but it's like if you take it compared to where it used to be, it's
Yeah,
I'm very proud of myself.
yeah. You'll have
So
to excuse the Amazon mic stand
no.
waist a little bit. We're balling on
Hey,
the budget.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. 150 must have been nice to start with. My freshman year in college, I want to say, not to exaggerate it, I was 118 pounds.
Damn.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
couldn't emphasize how skinny I was. It was ridiculous. And I mean, now I'm only up to like 168 right now, but like
Only.
only, yeah. I mean, that's a lot of weight for 118.
Yeah.
And my body fat I think is still like 5%. So I've done it without like, eating a ton of Pop Tarts, which is one of your strategies, which I love your Pop Tarts.
Oh,
Eat
dude,
them
me
more, but
too.
I've listened to Joe Rogan too much now. I'm freaked out about everything, but yeah, it's awesome, man. I love it. So you moved to Colorado, and I guess it kind of you're still lifting, obviously. So
Oh
you
yeah.
still lift all the time. That doesn't change anything, but you've definitely started pursuing some different things than just the gym, some outdoor stuff, which I freaking love, and we got to talk about that. So Colorado, is home to literally anything. Like summers are beautiful. You can do summer activities. Winters are unmatched as far as winter sports. So I guess start with what do you think? What's your favorite thing to do out there? Let's start with that.
Ooh, that's a good one. Someone actually asked me that recently, and I would have to favorite. I'm gonna say one of the big reasons I moved out there was for the skiing and snowboarding, and that has been awesome. Um, Something I got into last season that I want to say is going to be almost certainly my favorite thing is I just got a snowmobile. So
Yeah.
yeah, doing some snowmobiling and then backcountry sled skiing, just riding up the mountain in the backcountry on the sled and then riding down. I think that is very quickly going to be my most favorite thing.
How could it not?
Yeah, right.
Do you
I mean,
camp too? Like,
oh yeah.
that's the fun
Um,
part too. Yeah.
During the summer, yeah, there's just so much BLM land
Uh-huh.
that like most of the time I camp, I just pull up into
Yep.
anywhere and just post up.
Yeah.
And then occasionally I'll get like a backpacking trip here and there. Just, camping and hiking, living out of my backpack, which is
So
pretty
fun.
fun. Yeah. Um, so yeah, winter for sure, skiing and snowboarding and snowmobiling. Summer there's that one's a little tough because I just feel like there's so much more to do. But I mean, my most classic favorite thing, which is probably Colorado cliche, is just going on hikes
Yeah.
and national parks. Thankfully, live right next to Rocky Mountain, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Can't get any better.
well, yeah, literally, any given weekend or weekday where I have a lot of time, just open up the All Trails app and just see, what kind of nature can I go look at that I haven't seen yet?
I'm so jealous. That's so awesome, dude. This guy is like a walker, by the way. Like you walk,
Yeah.
bro. Like so I run a little bit, but like you walk. Like I follow you on Strava and stuff, and I'll like see your update, and it's like, yeah, Austin did a lunchtime walk. I'm like, oh, that's nice. It's like 10 miles. I'm like, this dude's just walking like for miles in this park. It's hilarious. I love it. Every time I see it, it's like 10 miles in like an hour, like an hour and a half. Like you're moving. You're like speed walking.
Yeah, I live right next to a lake, and anytime that like I get out there, I'm like I'm not running, definitely not, but I do not walk slow.
Yeah.
And occasionally I'll be lapping people and just like, all right, how many people did I lap on my silly little walk? Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason.
Dude,
Um,
you should start running because you'd be like the next like Nick Bear or Truett Haynes now, the guys who are like jacked out of their mind and running
yeah,
like 6 minute miles and marathons.
yeah, that stuff is super impressive,
It's hard.
and oh, I can only imagine.
It's hard.
I mean, it's yeah. I mean, the one nice thing about lifting is, on any given day you can commit anywhere from like an hour up to 2 hours in the gym, and you did a fantastic job. When it comes to running distances, you might have to sacrifice like half a Sunday just to
Yeah.
like, run like
Hmm.
13 miles just to train, and that can take, however long.
Right.
So it's like I'm thankful that, lifting you can't really get too much more out of it after
Right.
lifting for a couple
Yeah.
hours. If that's already a lot.
Right.
So I'm very thankful that in that regard, like I
Yeah.
don't have to worry too much.
Yeah.
Uh,
Running will eat up your time. I don't wish because I wouldn't change how I'm using my time, but I do wish I had a little bit more time to devote to running because it's super fun. But like you said, like you have to do it every day.
yeah.
Like you want to be good, which instantly when I start doing something, I want to be the best. So it's like I can't just run a little. I have to run a lot. And it's a lot of time. Like when I was training for my marathon, I was getting up at 4 a.m. to run because I couldn't find any other time in my day. I'm like, well, I can't run at night because I have to watch Sadie and I don't want to be away from my family at night. And I already work out at night. So I can't add another hour on top of that. So waking up at 4 a.m. to run in the middle of winter, like big thumbs down.
Yeah.
Not fun. Like nothing. And then I was cold plunging before that. So imagine getting out of your nice, snugly warm bed next to your wife and walking outside. My cold plunge was on the back porch, getting in like 38-degree water, and then going on a run. Like, I'm not doing it again. I'm just telling everybody right now. I'm not going back to that. Like, I still cold plunge and I still run. That crap is not happening again. It
Yeah.
was miserable.
Oh my
I did that for
goodness.
like 6 months. It was terrible.
That, man, that is real devotion to yourself.
And then I
That,
still ran a slow marathon after all that. It was terrible. I guess I'm not as good a runner as I thought. I am doing a 10K in like 3 weeks, so
hey, that's
yeah.
awesome.
I think I've decided I like the short races.
Yeah.
I mean, the marathon was awesome, and I would like to do one a year just for fun, like whether I run it fast or not, whatever. Just like as an achievement thing, like do one every year of your life. But the short races are fun. Like the 10Ks, like the 6 miles, those are my favorite.
Let's go.
Because like you can run fast, and it doesn't take like an insane amount of training for me to be pretty fast at those. It's like you can be competitive. Like the one I'm about to do, I actually won my age group last year, which was awesome.
Let's
It's the
go.
first year I ran to, which was cool. But like the 6 miles, and it's not training. So to all of you out there who are actual runners, you're the best because mine is like I just die for 6 miles. Like, it's not because I've trained well, it's because I just max my heart rate out for 6 miles and get done and can't walk for a week. But it's still fun.
Hey.
It's great.
Oh.
Anybody who runs would be like, dude, this guy, like, I'll watch his numbers on Strava out there with you, and it's like he'll run 10 miles at a 8 minute per mile pace, and his heart rate like never gets over 130. I'm like, you suck. Like,
Yeah.
my heart rate's like 190 when I walk out of the driveway. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Training, training. That's what training does.
Dude,
So
it's so wild living with him because
he's an
like
animal.
yeah, I my perception of running is just so different than the average person. Like, I don't even run. And I'm like, oh, like, man, just watching someone run 100-mile race or yeah, he just, one day he did like 60 miles around the lake that I like to walk around. He spent the entire day just running laps around it. And throughout the day, like some friends would like stop by and say what up. But I'm like, 60 miles? What?
Right?
But I'm also at the same time, I'm like, I see him just do like crazy runs like all the time. Then I'm like, okay, like not like, oh, if he could do it, I could do it. But it's just like, okay, when he started running, he was like, he was just like a college kid who was like, drinking every weekend and
Right.
whatever. And now he's like the fittest person I know. So
Hmm.
it's like, yeah, like I no longer have any sort of mental barrier of like, what could I do running? I'm like, yeah, I could probably do a lot.
Just don't want to.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right. I feel you.
But
It's cool to watch people too get involved in stuff like that. And I am like so prejudiced when it comes to athletes because it's fun to watch people just change their life and make it better.
oh
Like
yeah.
guy starts running, like it could be an alcoholic, starts running, like problem solved. like he's a runner now.
Yeah,
Like it's so cool to watch athletics literally change people's life. Like I love it.
right. I mean, any sort of passion and
Yeah,
pursuit,
whatever it is. Yeah,
like, but yeah, it is extra. I would, to me, it's extra cool seeing it in any sort of like physical activity
yeah,
capacity
for sure.
because, that's just what I'm into.
Yeah,
But
same. That's great. That's
yeah.
great. So, Colorado, you do a lot of cool stuff. Not all in Colorado, but I think it would be a disservice not to talk about some of the freaking sweet things you've done. And mainly, personally, I just want to hear more about them because we never have enough time to talk about them in depth. So, I asked you in your pre-podcast interview to text interview to give me your four top favorite trips you've taken or things you've done. So we're gonna go through those. You don't have to like it doesn't have to be an hour each or anything. Like just give us your favorite parts of them and what was so great. But start at four. We got to work up to number one because number one is off the chain. It's
Yeah.
next level. So we got to start at four.
Yeah, thank you. And honestly, I still like when I send you that list, I'm like, okay, there's a lot
It's
that
tough,
I considered. So, um, I feel like there's some that like arguably could be on there, but you know,
right?
but yeah, okay. So number four, going to Yosemite and then doing the cables on the Half Dome. Um, just being in Yosemite in the first place is just such a
Insane, beautiful.
unbelievably gorgeous. And I remember we were trying to get permits for Half Dome, and then we just got so lucky that we got like a permit like the day before
Oh wow,
because we wanted to, that we were hoping that that would be like a big part of
yeah,
the thing, but we just had to cross our fingers. And when we initially planned it, we tried getting the permits beforehand, couldn't get them. And then we went on the website and we looked, okay, what is the most likely part of the year that we are going to get them? And that's exactly when we planned the trip for.
nice.
So that probably helped. But yeah, it was just breathtaking and going up those cables. I don't know if you've seen pictures. It
Yeah,
is like straight up.
it's
And
insane. I mean,
yeah.
Half Dome is like
Yeah.
straight up. It's
Yeah.
insane.
So that whole trip was just super fun. I went with two of my best friends, and we did a whole other bunch of other hikes. At one point, we just found a river and just hung out in the river.
Yeah.
Um, but that was, beautiful, unforgettable moment. Um, and then number three, what did I,
Number three, you had a road trip from Wisconsin to LA, which
okay.
sounds like a lot of open interpretation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of my friends that I was actually did Half Dome with, he was moving from Boston to LA. My friend that I actually almost moved to LA for with.
Yeah.
Um, so he got a Penske truck in Boston, drove it to Milwaukee, and that's where I hopped in.
Nice.
And then together we started our journey to LA. And the the start of the journey, just going through the Midwest was not too crazy.
Yeah. Right.
But at one point, it had to have been like 1 or 2 a.m. when we get to a gas station and my friend's like, I can't find my wallet.
Oh no.
Yeah, and we're like, dude, we're like 5 hours away from Wisconsin, like nowhere near LA, just like holy shit.
Oh, that's bad.
And we remembered like we stopped at one point, we pulled off to a random exit and just, went into a cornfield to use the bathroom.
Right.
And we're like, he's like, do you remember what exit that was? I was like, I don't have a clue. So we we drove back like an hour and just stopped at a bunch of exits. Miraculously, just came past the one that we did, and his
No.
wallet was just in the middle of the road, right
No
where
way.
he opened his door.
Oh.
Oh my God, I that was such a wild start to
Yeah.
it.
Jeez.
But found it, kept going, and then the next place we went to was Zion National Park,
Oh yeah.
and we did Angel's Landing hike, which is man, it's got to probably be the coolest view I've ever had
Really?
in anywhere. Yeah.
I haven't been to Zion. It's on the list.
Oh, I highly recommend. It's just such a crazy, like words can't describe it.
Yeah.
So that one, we went to Zion, did Angel's Landing, and then we had to kind of book it down because we had a show in Vegas that we had to make it to. So we went from Zion to Vegas. We saw a Cirque du Soleil show. We went to like a pool party for a music artist that we really like.
Oh, nice.
Um, and then
How do you just get into that?
luckily we just got tickets and we could
Nice.
show
Okay,
up.
cool.
So that was super fun. And then went to LA, spent some time surfing, riding motorcycles, because his cousin at the time had a bunch. So we all got one and just ripped around. Had a bunch of good food along the way, and it was my first like really big like road trip, and arguably the only. Well, I've definitely done other road trips, but probably the most fun one I've ever done.
Yeah,
So that one, just
that's
good
sick.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so cool.
Um, and then number two, what did I have on there?
Friend group trip to Keystone.
Oh, we before I lived in Colorado, we would just try to get like a bunch of the boys together and just like go out to the Colorado.
Yeah.
And there were always so many times where we would do it for like a few years in a row. And actually, sadly, this is the first year we haven't done it in probably like 4 or 5 years. Um, but we would just get all the boys together, go rip the mountains, and then stay at Airbnb and just hot tub, drink a little and just have a grand old
Yeah.
time. We would bring like some video games and do like a Super Smash Bros. Tournament.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
We would have to rent a short bus just so like we could fit all our gear
Love it.
together. And we just have so many unforgettable like bits and funny moments throughout those trips that it's like, it's impossible to look back on and not just like crack a smile about.
That's the stuff you take with you.
Yeah,
For sure.
exactly. The um and then number one, without a doubt, coolest adventure is heli skiing in Japan. That one was, just
Yeah, where
nuts.
do you start?
Yeah. Um, so actually, luckily, I started with two of my close friends in Colorado. They took an avalanche course, and the instructor in the course was also a guide in Japan.
Oh,
So one winter, they were like, "Oh, like we want to go to Japan." I was like, "Dude, I want to go to Japan." They're like, "We should all go to Japan."
yeah.
And they're like, "Awesome! Like we already know this guiding company. We know one of the guides. Like we're gonna go do helicopter skiing." I'm like, "Dude, sign me up." So yeah, we signed up for it. We got there, we did it. The only thing that was a little unfortunate is that we got a little shafted on snow. It was like we were there at the end of like a 10-day no new snow streak,
Oh, okay.
and Japan's known for their legendary powder.
Yeah.
So it was a little unfortunate, can't control the weather. And but we still got to touch like a bunch of untouched snow, which was just otherworldly, especially the mountain we were on, and there was another nearby volcano just
Oh,
in the
wow.
background at all times, just like
That's so
so
cool.
insane.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and just fantastic time. Super grateful for those friends that went with, and
Yeah.
you know lifetime of or memories for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
There's something about the mountains, and I mean, I'm sure you can relate with living out there, but like, I'm not from the mountains. I don't live near the mountains, but there is no place I'm happier than
Right.
in the mountains. Like, I don't know what it is. But like, it's like you get there. I think a lot of it is you just feel tiny, and that's really good in life is to feel small because it kind of puts things in perspective.
Yeah.
Like when you see stuff like that, but they're so peaceful and like something about being up and like looking down. I don't know. It's
100%.
just the best.
Yeah.
It's literally the best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's hear about yours.
Oh, my four? Oh, geez. I don't know if I've done four things that cool. Um, Now, see, you got me off guard here. Four things I've done. Mine look a little different, but I would say I definitely have four trips. I can do this. I can pull this out of my ass here. So they're not going to be in any order because I don't have time to think about that. But so a couple years ago, I took a pheasant hunting trip out west with Josh Warner. You know him,
Yeah.
and his dad Mark, and that is like probably the closest thing I can compare to like your friend group road trip because so if you've never hunted with me, and that's probably a good thing because hunting with me is not as fun as it sounds. It's like it's my thing, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm very serious about it. There's not a ton of joking around, and like especially I spend most of my time bow hunting, and like there's no joking during bow hunting. Like
Yeah.
it's a very serious thing. So like going on a bow hunting trip with someone is not always that fun because it's just you're both there for a goal, right? And even though you might be actually hunting together, like pursuing one animal together, like out west, that would be more common. But like here, you're all, whitetail hunting on your own. Like people will be like, "Oh, do you like hunt with anybody?" And I'm like gun hunting you kind of do around here. Like you'll do like the deer camp and stuff, but
Yeah.
bow hunting is like the solo sport of all solo sports. So this trip was totally different because we didn't really expect much. So, quick overview of pheasant hunting. You normally have a dog, which we didn't. You normally have a dog. You go out and you either walk public land, so BLM stuff or whatever, or you do what we do, which when we hunt, I don't. Public land's tough to hunt, obviously. So I spend more time driving around and getting permission on private land. Paying the farmer, doing whatever to hunt private stuff. So that's what we did. We went out and got permission on private land. But the concept is you walk through these fields. They're like marsh grass or like cut cornfields and whatever with marsh grass in them, and you physically try to flush these birds out of like this thick stuff, like by like stepping in it and walking through it. They flush up, you shoot them. The dog goes and gets them and brings them back. That's pheasant hunting. Well, we didn't have a dog, and when you shoot them, they keep flying a little or drop a little and like get hidden in stuff that you can't find. But that's why you have a dog because he smells them, right?
Hmm.
So it was incredible. We didn't have a dog, and we lost one or two birds all week, and we limited like I think 3 out of the 5 days. Like it was incredible. Like I'll put some pictures up in like the intro reel to the podcast, but it was like there were people staying at the same hotel as us who were paying a guide and were shooting less birds than us. They were so pissed. It was hilarious. Like we just hit the jackpot with the farmer. Like he was so nice, so kind. And then the best part of the trip though was there was no stress because none of
Hey.
us really cared if we like. It's not like the bow hunting thing. Like nobody really cared. We were just having fun and like just the camaraderie. Like I'm close. Those two guys are like I'm closer to them than I might be to anybody. Like they're just those are my dudes. Like it's like my
Yeah,
dad and my brother. And it was just the memories. And Mark's getting older, so like any memories, you see people getting older and it's like he's still able to do that stuff because he's a badass. So like getting to make those memories with him, like that was probably the best hunting trip I've ever been on, by far.
that's
So
awesome.
this year I'm going out west for my first elk hunt. So I'm gonna put that in there as one of the best trips, even though I haven't done it yet.
Let's
As
go.
long as we get the tag, which I should find out soon, that's gonna be great. It's a gun hunt. It's not archery, which sucks a little bit because I love archery, but that's gonna be fun. And then
Where's that?
that will be in Colorado. Yeah,
Hey,
so I'm coming out there. It's
let's
not.
go.
It's not near you. Well, I guess it depends. It's gonna be like right in the middle of the state, far west.
Okay.
So I don't know where Denver is in relation to that, but
It's more so to the eastern border,
okay.
but
You're in
that's,
Denver?
yep.
Okay, yeah, so you're on the other side, but so that'll be sweet. Trips though, this last year I had the opportunity to marry one of my wife's best friends to her new husband in Wyoming in front of Grand Teton. That trip was baller. Like, first of all, Teton is my favorite place. Like, I hands down that park is just my favorite. There's something about those mountains. And the thing we did, I think, during that made it so much fun was we did the hike up to this like hidden lake. I can't remember the name of the lake now, but anyways, if you anybody who's familiar with Tetons will know the lake I'm talking
Yeah.
about. But there's one specific lake. It's a glacier lake, and you hike the thousands of feet of elevation up to it, and you get up there, and it's just like this crater of water on top of a mountain with like the peak of Teton coming out of it. It looks like it is the most stellar thing, and it's like so peaceful. You get up there, and it's like just peace, and the water is like freezing glacier water, so naturally I had to cold plunge in it.
Yeah.
Um, but it was one of those things that you'll never forget. Like one doing it with my wife was awesome. Watching her do something she's never done. Like she's not a hiker, she's not a runner, and watching her like climb up that mountain was awesome. Like she was terrified at times, but it was amazing. Like that was a really good time. Um, and then let's see, what's another good trip I've done? I don't know. We'll go with those for now. But yeah, I don't know. I The snowmobiling thing I might have to do with you sometime because that is something like I ride sleds up north here with my boss, but it's just like on trails, so it's nothing crazy. But like I watch the guys like doing the crazy shit and like the deep stuff, and I'm like, that looks fun.
Please, dude.
Even if I like can't ride through all that stuff, I just want to like be there and be the dude on the side with like a beer, just watching you guys do it or something. Like that whole atmosphere just looks so much fun.
Oh yeah, no, it is otherworldly.
Yeah.
And when you come out and do it, we are gonna have a time and a half.
Yeah, we need to do that. We talk about me coming out there, and we just have to do it.
Absolutely.
I feel like probably winter would be the time because I can do like summer stuff here,
Yeah.
but the winter thing, I can ski a little,
Okay.
so not like probably that level of skiing, but I can ski, so we could do a little bit of skiing. Can't. I've always wanted to snowboard, snowboard. I combined two things there. Snowboard. It's
Snowboard.
a new sport, dude. I've always wanted to snowboard, but just never. I got to draw the line somewhere, right, with hobbies. So
Yeah,
never did that. But skiing I can do, so we'll have to do it.
absolutely.
Be fun.
Oh man, I cannot wait.
It's just got to be like January or later,
Eh,
so I don't miss any hunting season.
yeah, absolutely.
So if we can do that, I'm in.
Oh, easy money.
Awesome. I love it, dude. Well, one thing I always do to wrap up, you know, we different guests talk about different things, but there's one question I like to ask everybody because it kind of relates to the mental health struggle I went through a little bit last year. But you know, defining success and not wasting your life and all those big questions that everybody hates. I've asked everybody so far, so you're going to get it too. So the name of the podcast is Vital Pursuit. You probably know that. So the vital question that I ask everybody is how would you define success for your life? So 85-year-old Austin is sitting on the front porch looking back. How would you define success?
Yeah, that's a really good one. Um, Before when you let me know that like that's like a big question, I thought about it a lot and I was like, you know what, I'll just keep thinking about it. I'll have an answer by the podcast. And I didn't come to like a super concrete one, but I would say so right now I have my goals written out and pretty much when I make goals for life, the question that I'm trying to answer is if I do this, will I feel like, you know, I'm being successful in whatever I'm doing?
Mm,
So for every, whatever area of goals, like whether that be like relationships, career, I have it written out like, okay, if I do this, I can say that I gave it an honest effort and that I'm, successful in whatever it is. So defining success, ooh,
tough. It's a tough one.
yeah. I would say for me, kind of relating back to what I was, I've said and alluded to earlier during the podcast, success is just making progress in the things that you care most about in life.
Mm,
I don't think it's necessarily an end point.
mm,
So just as long as you're getting better at the things that you really care about, I would say you're successful.
mm. I love it,
So,
dude. I love it. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. A lot of times with family, it's like I feel like you're stuck with them, but I don't know. I'm not stuck with you. I'm
hey,
so happy that you're my family now and can talk to you. It's been awesome. So
hey, me too. Thank you so much for
thank you.
the opportunity.
Yeah.
And
So I'll come to Colorado. We'll throw a rager, and then we're gonna have a podcast right after it and talk about it.
let's do it.
All right. Good, bro. Love you, man.
All right.